Yes, indeed. Class 11 and 10 are about to make their way to the circuit, and here is how they're going to grid up out on track. Abby Mills starting on the front row of the grid with James Hunting alongside Tom Ratcliffe and Laurie Wessel on row number 2. Evan Bradley and Harry Hurst rounding out row number 3. Row number 4, Noah Webb, Peter Knowles-Randall alongside in 8th place. Then it's Nathan Tyler, Joshua Behan on row number 5. Matthew Pepe and Thomas Forbes on row number 6. James Thompson, Alex Favreau and Leah Rowland and Alfie Atmore on 15th and 16th place. Laxton Bott and Oliver Levesey, I will say, on 17th and 18th. Oliver Costello, Tom Stretford, Andrew Willman and Warren Kiss on 21st and 22nd on the grid. There they are, about to make their way out into the circuit, lined up on the demi-grid. And I'm trying to find the list of drivers. It is just there. There we go. I've got it on my screen now. So, yeah, lots of drivers in this one. The biggest grid that we're going to be seeing so far today. There's a zoom in there. Nice shots there of the bog standard. It's nice to see just bog standard helmets again. Because you talk about racing, you talk about commenting, and you see these fancy helmets with paint jobs on them, and well, that's the bog standard. That's a standard one from Bell. You can buy that helmet like that. That is not a painted helmet. That is a vinyl that you can get from Bell helmets.
I'll tell you what, actually, I bought my first ever helmet. It was a Bell, and it was because they could come with actually some customization on them, instead of the sort of plain white Arai. But you're right. I mean, you're so used to obviously covering the likes of the British and Super 1 Championship or
British Kart Championship.
British Kart Championship. So there's a bit of an old term. Apologies, been out of the game.
Yeah, well, no. So the Super 1 British Kart Champs title was with Super 1. It was they don't have it anymore. So Motorsport UK run it now as a separate championship. It's Motorsport UK's British Kart Championship. Yes, so that is the kind of the main British Champs title.
But they have very fancy helmets and cars there and everything. It's all very sponsored, isn't it? Whereas this is
proper racing.
I mean, that Arai's probably been handed down. I mean, not necessarily that one. It looks very
down to generations.
It looks very new, that one. But some of these drivers will genuinely have hand-me-down helmets that the schools actually own. That's how we used to when I first started and when Tom first started. That's how it was run.
There you go. There you go. Proper grassroots racing. And speaking of grassroots, there's quite a lot of it at the side of the track. It's nice and grown here at Fulbeck. It's nice. It slows the karts down quite quickly, I have to say, when they go off. So it's a nice little safety feature that they've got, I will say. Out of the final couple of corners then, and we're going to get one of the busiest grids underway. Class 11 and Class 10. There's only 2 drivers in Class 10, I will say, James Hunting and Abby Mills, but out of the final corner, green flags down, and away we go. 8 or 9 minutes. Oh, and contact to the background. One of the karts has gone round. Everyone avoids. It was the 85 that went around. Who is the 85 on our screens? Who was the 85?
It's Lachlan Bott.
Yes, it was indeed. It was. Yeah, so a huge shame there for Lachlan, but gets the kart back, albeit now at the back of the grid, but gets that job done. Now you can see the number 1 there on your screen with the big novice sign at the back. That's Warren Kiss out there. Again, some novice drivers, 3 novice drivers out there. Tom Stretford, Warren Kiss and Andrew Willman. But a good start to the race so far. Everyone almost getting away cleanly.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive move, to be fair, over the start-finish line, which I think caused that. But here we go, 25 around the outside, up the inside, and, well, you spoke to, so I'm going to blame you, that one, Anthony. That's commentator's curse written all over it for the number 88 machine, and I fear that's Tom Ratcliffe and Quinton House.
Yeah, it was your race leader.
A bit gutting there for him, but here we go, the 25 of Evan Bradley and Thomas Forbes, the 66, going side by side. Through goes Thomas Forbes, but wide out through the second part of the chicane. And I tell you what, I think actually the number 92 of Harry Hurst is fancying his chances up the inside here. In fact, any of the top 4, to be honest, could be leading at the end of this lap. It's fantastic racing. And if you want to have a distinguish between the Class 11 and Class 10, well, there are only 2 Class 10 drivers, but they are in a green plate and white number, and quite clearly on the Class 11, it's red plate, white number. So if you see a green plate out there with a white number, it's a Cobra Cadet.
Ah, there we go.
That's the Class 10.
That's the Class 10. There you go. That's what it is on your screen. There we go. So we end lap 1. We're about to end lap number 2. And you can see there the 25 of Evan Bradley there in second place, the 92 as well, and the 2 scrapping away. That's Harry Hurst and Joshua Behan there alongside, but leading the way is Thomas Forbes, and that 66 plate comfortably at the front has managed to open up a gap just shy of a second in towards the first chicane. Now, warning flag did go out to Evan Bradley for that contact at the turn 7 corner, where unfortunately we did lose one of our drivers. Well, he fell down the order by quite a way. Tom Radcliffe, of course, all the way down now in 15th place after that contact. But at the moment, everyone line astern, albeit the number 2 pulling out and going down the inside. Tried to get through there. Joshua Behan there on Harry Hurst, but unable to get that job done, so stays in 4th place. This battle on your screen is the battle for second, and again, all over the track, trying to find any space. Yeah, it's good offensive manoeuvres here by Josh Behan. He's not really making any moves just yet, but he's just putting them off slightly. I mean, the worst place to be right now is the number 92 driver of Harry Hurst, because if he makes a move, he doesn't pull it off, he's going to be caught by the man behind him. But by the looks of it, he's going to pull it off even before he gets to the corner. It's not even a late braking manoeuvre. I think Harry Hurst probably knew what was coming there. Oh, sorry, Evan Bradley knew what was coming here. He may well know what's coming here as well, because up the inside goes Joshua Behan, and into 3rd place for Joshua, that number 2 car. I'll explain how the numbers work in a minute, because it has changed slightly. We might have some old legacy spectators here from a bit further back in the day. It used to be how you finished in the Nationals would dictate your number for the rest of the year, but now they do it on championship points. So the number 2 is again looking up the inside, Joshua Behan on Harry Hurst. He wants that 3rd place. Yeah, I think he does indeed. So as they exit out of the hairpin in towards the final boot section here of Fulbeck, and see everyone going wide, a little wide there from Harry Hurst and the number 2, 25 as well, Evan Bradley following as they go through, but a better exit out of the final corner, crossing the line. Defensive goes Harry Hurst into the first corner. That is really going to hinder the exit speed. That's really going to allow Joshua Behan to close up there, and also alongside it's going to allow Evan Bradley to close up as well. I think it's always a fine line of when you start to go defensive, and if you do go defensive too early, you end up losing way more time than what you would have done if you had just stayed on the normal racing line. Well, that's exactly it, you know. It's and we're seeing that now as the number 2 go, Joshua Behan, there we go, goes through into 2nd place. The 92 car of Harry Hurst. I tell you what, Thomas Forbes has absolutely checked out. He's already practicing for next season, or the next heat, shall I say. He's that far ahead right now. He's about 3 seconds, but we haven't seen him since, because this battle for second has been so sensational. But you're right, absolutely. If you defend, if you go straight to the defensive line coming out of a corner, then you're just ruining your exit of the previous corner, and you don't carry anywhere near as much speed. As we see a yellow flag being waved in the background there. Not entirely sure what that's for. We'll see if someone falls down the order in a couple of minutes as the number 96 and the number 5 car. That's the battle for the top 5, I tell you. Alex Favreau and Alfie Atmore. Yep, it is indeed. They're scrapping away nicely there, both in Class 11 as well. The rest of the field, though, as they slot through with 3.5 minutes to go. Let's have a quick rundown then of what is out on track. So Thomas Forbes leading the way on that 66 with Joshua Behan in 2nd place in the number 2. Then it's Harry Hurst, Evan Bradley, Alex Favreau in the top 5, Alfie Atmore in 6th place, Peter Nuns-Randall in 7th. Then it's Leo Rowland in 8th place, up 2 positions, so good running there on that last lap. James Thompson in 9th place, and Oliver Livesey is rounding out the top 10. Lachlan Bott in 11th place. Then it's Matthew Pepe in 12th place. Warren Kiss, Noah Webb, Tom Stretford, I should say. Tom Ratcliffe, after starting on pole position, is now all the way back into 16th place at the moment with that contact in the boot section. Oh, around the outside there off your screen, you saw the 88 again of Tom Ratcliffe, who tried to go around the outside of the boot section, and it all went awry and couldn't get that job done. And another yellow flag out, because that looked like it just scraped and bottomed out on that rough curb, didn't it? Well, it just looked like it almost as if his steering broke through that, and I don't want to speculate. I would like to spectate. I wouldn't like to speculate what happened, but it just looked like he was running on their outside curb, and these cars don't have any suspension, and they're relatively
they're not high power, so they don't skim across the bumps quite as quickly as maybe some of the higher powered ones. You really do feel them in these 4 strokes, and unfortunately, I think Tom Ratcliffe has had a race to forget here, but hopefully he'll be back out with a stronger performance a bit later on. And there we go. Actually, I think that's the first time we've seen one of the Class 10 drivers towards the back of the order. It's actually James Hunting that we can see just in the back. The Coma Cadet, obviously Coma Cadet, very popular in sort of MSA and club karting. It's never really taken off in NATSKA, well, when I was around anyway, but clearly some people have come in and wanted to race it.
Yeah, exactly that. And, you know, any kart's really, it's fun, isn't it, when you jump in it, isn't it? So, you know, it doesn't matter what engine's got. Oh, there's someone in the barrier. Oh, now who is that? That looks like Evan Bradley, the 25. Now, he is facing the barriers. And you would think for most racers that, you know, you can just get out of the kart, push it backwards, get back in it and drive off. Not here at NATSKA. If you need assistance with getting out of the tunnel, unfortunately, you're out the race. If you cannot get that kart going again, that's it, you're out. If you're stuck though, but you could get it going, you can't. There's another spin, the 20. Now, he spun, but he could get going again without getting out of the kart. As soon as you get out of the kart, you can't continue. Exactly that, yeah. As soon as you put a foot on the floor, basically, your race is over. You can't get going. And it's a safety feature, obviously, because these guys are ranging between 11 and 16. And unlike, say, the Coma Cadets and you know, MSA or you know, British Karting Championships or anything like that, this is the grassroots. You know, you don't want any more mistakes happening, and it's just safer. It's for insurance purposes, and it's unfortunate because the drivers may well just get stuck on a curb. Yeah. But it's just a case of, you know, you have to swallow it and just take it, sort of thing. It's, as I said, it's all for safety. I mean, in the higher powered direct drive style TKMs and everything like that, you can't imagine you know, getting out and pushing the kart in British Karting Championships. You may well see it, but in this, you're not allowed. So it's just the way it is. You have to remain in the kart. You're not allowed to jump out, and that's why you may see some people do the truffle shuffle, trying to shuffle their way out of a tire wall, exactly that, or anything like that. Timer strikes 0 then, and Thomas Forbes leading the way comfortably by 6 seconds. This, though, is the battle for second place. Joshua Bean and Harry Hurst, nose to tail, second in class. And you saw there were side by side trying to get that job done. Unfortunately, couldn't quite do it, so stays behind. There is Harry Hurst, but having a good old scrap here. Again, please do keep your comments coming in. Lots of support out on the stream there. You can see there support for Thomas out there as well. So please do get your comments coming in. We would love to hear from you. But out of the final corner, side by side once more. No, not quite. Has to slot back in. So Harry Hurst not having the pace to get past. Last lap board will be out this time. The race leader Thomas Forbes takes that one, and then it's going to be these two here. Look at this, side by side now, goes defensive, hand up in the air. I say it looks pretty clean to me. There you go. So you can defend your line as they go into the corner, and out they go. Not managing to get past this time around. Again, just slotting into position. Again, it's a very tense moment for these drivers. Lots to think about when you're out there. Where to position the kart? Where's the braking zone? Where's your turning point? Where do I put on the power? You know, again, it's a lot to think about. There is, and there absolutely is. And obviously there's 6 heats to think about as well. And you are allowed to drop round. So whatever is your, say, Tom Ratcliffe, obviously he's had a pretty poor event so far in this race, but this could be his drop round. Only 5 counts out of the 6, so you never know, he could come back swinging. But you're absolutely right. I think Harry Hurst is obviously keen to try and get past as the last lap board has now been brought in, which means we are going to get the checkered flag for Thomas Forbes. Indeed, indeed. First heat for Class 11 and 10. And the winner of Class 11 is the 66 of Thomas Forbes, who's going to take the checkered flag for second place. It's going to be a run to the line. Oh, so close. Joshua Bean takes second place. Harry Hurst crosses the line, the 92, in third place, albeit by a whisker. By a whisker. I'm not sure about the little move after the checkered flag there between Joshua Bean and Harry Hurst. I think maybe a word will have to be said to sort of chill it out. You know, less hand gestures and more sort of clean racing, please. Thank you very much, lads. But we'll have to see how that comes out as the rest of the drivers are coming across the field now. And I tell you what, we haven't seen them that much, but the Coma Cadet winner, the Class 10 winner, James Hunting, has just come across the line. 12th overall, so a good start, good standing in amongst all the other Class 11s. Abby Mills is the other Class 10
runner, and I think she was lapped, so I believe she's already finished the race.
Yeah, she was. She was indeed. Finishing 17th place, though, overall out on circuit. Great then running from Class 11 and Class 10, but of course plenty more races coming up in just a moment. What is the next race of the day? Indeed, Class 11 and Class 10 are about to make their way out onto the circuit, and it's a busy old grid, this one. It's a big Class 11 and only 2 karts in Class 10, so yeah.
Yeah, it's the most popular grid, or most populated grid on the that we've got today, actually. I do feel a bit sorry for Alexander Arnold. I can see him all the way down the front straight trying to push his cart, but hopefully get some help. Anyway, I'll let you run through the order, Anthony.
Indeed, yes. Here is a look at the grid then for our next race. James Hunting starting on pole position with Abby Mills alongside Oliver Livesey and Matthew Pepe in 4th place. Alex Favreau and Nathan Tyler on row number 3. Row number 4 is Thomas Ratcliffe, then Lachlan Bott, Alfie Atmore, James Thompson, Noah Webb and Leah Rowland. Peter Nuns-Randall, Ethan Bradley on row 13 and 14th, or 13th and 14th on grid, not row 13 and 14th. They'd be way back to the order, wouldn't they? 15th is Oliver Costello and Thomas Forbes on 16th spot. So then it's Joshua Ben and Harry Hurst, Andrew Willman and Tom Stretford. Round out the grid with Warren Kiss at the back on 21st bait and that number 1 kart. They are on the dummy grid, getting themselves ready. And again, 4 strokes. Honda engines are going to be the kind of main grid on this one. Essentially, they are like a detuned Honda Cadet engine type deal, but they're on a junior chassis.
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated, isn't it, about how it all works. But essentially, I think Class 11 is, if we just call it the 4-stroke junior or junior 4-stroke sort of thing. 4-stroke. Class 12 is probably the senior 4-stroke.
Yes.
It's just how we're going to roll with it for the sake of the commentary, I think.
Yeah.
And the Class 10 is the Coma Cadet.
Yes.
So that's fairly easy. The Coma Cadet is the green plate, white numbers, which will be very distinct. There we go. Just panning through
whiz past.
Exactly. So yeah, an awfully big grid for the Class 11s. It has to be said. Class 10 is obviously not so high, but yeah, a fantastically populated grid where all the drivers are learning their racecraft. They're learning how to go a little bit quicker. They're pushing each other to the edge, and hopefully enjoying it as well and catching the racing bug, which is what all NATSKA is about, obviously, to try and push them forward and so they can excel in whatever they want to do in motorsport, which is obviously, this is the grassroots, and hopefully we'll keep a track on them through the years.
Yeah, I'm sure we will indeed. So they enter the last couple of corners here, side by side. The 4-stroke rumble.
Rumble's probably a good word rather than pitter-patter or whatever I was saying before.
The 4-stroke rumble. There it is. Shaking the dentures out of your mouth, these cars will, with their rumble, as they go round the last couple of corners out of the boot section here at Fulbeck. Round turns number 10. And back onto the start-finish straight. Is it green flag this time? It is green flag. Out it goes. And in towards turn number 1. Everyone careful. Is everyone going side by side? Oh, there is a bit of contact there. 2 karts off into the barrier. 3, 4 karts off. 5, 6 karts off. Oh, dear me. It's absolute pandemonium at turn 1. And the rest of the field slot through. But my goodness me, there's plenty to talk about there. As many karts were involved. I can't quite see who is there. I think maybe was the 95 one of them. A Battenberg flag does swiftly come out.
Leah Rowland is the number 95, so there is a high potential. We'll keep an eye out of our window and see if we can see anybody, but they're going to have to repair a tyre barrier, which is why we are under first full course yellows, and by the looks of it, the tyre barrier is taking a bit of a hit, so there is still a driver in their kart at turn number 1, trying to wheel themselves backwards, so they're going to try and carry on this race.
No, so they are stepping out of the kart now as well, because I think it's got quite a bit of damage to the front of it. So, yeah, it's going to be retirements all the way throughout in that pack there. So it looks like we lost about 4 or 5 karts from the race. But we'll try and relay who that was. I suspect they're probably going to send these karts straight through and not let them go through the chicane. We'll see. So, right, now they cross the line, we'll get to see who doesn't cross the line. So, looking like we've got Noah Webb hasn't crossed the line. Peter Nuns-Randall hasn't crossed the line. Harry Hurst hasn't crossed the line. Oh, Harry Hurst has now just crossed the line, so Harry's still out. Warren is still out. So, it looks like out of all of that, we have only lost 2 karts. One is Noah Webb, the number 9, and Peter Nuns-Randall, the number 20. Now, there was a contact warning that did go out to the 95 of Leah Rowland, so there is still in the race, but did receive a contact warning, maybe due to the result of that incident at turn 1, possibly.
Yeah, it's just such a vast amount of cars, isn't there, heading towards that braking zone. And the karts aren't necessarily the quickest that we've got here today. But that doesn't mean that it means any less to any of the drivers. And they all want to be the last of the late breakers. And they obviously want to try and get their noses ahead if possible. But you don't win the race on the first corner. You don't tend to anyway, do you, Anthony? If you watch Formula 1, you could argue they do. But here at karting, it doesn't tend to happen.
Have you seen me sim race? I just absolutely gun it. I always try to win the race turn 1. In fact, actually, that reminds me of a story when I was racing in Simply Race 24-hour kart race. I lunged down the inside of Burst Esports and took the lead for half a corner. There we go. But green flag's out. We're racing again here at Fulbeck, and good start then. All single file this time around. Hopefully they've learnt their lesson and they're not going to go 4 wide. No, they didn't learn their lesson. They're going to go 4 wide again in towards the first braking zone. Is everyone going to get round cleanly? Yes, it does. Oh, no, I saw a yellow flag. A hint of a yellow flag again. Did someone go right? Yeah, I think someone has gone straight on again out there. So, yellow flag's clear, and they all get around again. Nice and clean. There we go. Good time, good start second time around.
Yeah, and Oliver Livesey has certainly had a good start, hasn't he? Alex Favreau and Matthew Pepe is really sort of going at each other, but Oliver seems to be pulling away here, and he'll be enjoying the little fight behind him because it will give the opportunity to potentially get a little bit further up the road before one of them gets past and sort of breaks the cork in the bottle, shall we say. But if you have a look at the 96 car, those side pods have seen better days, haven't they? But they're still in commission because that's just how NATSKA works. And in fact, I know that I was speaking to a couple of the old boys down when I was getting my burger earlier on. Some of the people that used to race and mechanic when I was here, they still have my engine from 10 years ago in circulation here for Junior TKM, apparently.
Oh, you definitely didn't race it hard enough then,
I definitely
didn't. Using it.
I only used it for about a year and a half. Apparently, it was a very good engine, so they kept it. They still have my brother's from about 20 years ago, which is ridiculous.
God blimey, there we go. You must have looked after them well then, haven't you?
Plenty of rebuilds since then.
Ah, right. Yeah, no, definitely. There we go then. 4.5 minutes to go then of this second heat for Class 11 and Class 10. And you can see there the 45 still of Oliver Livesey leading the way from Alfie Atmore, very close behind. And that number 5 plate, Lachlan Bott, is moved up into 3rd place on that 85. And again, defensive driving now goes Oliver Livesey as he exits out of the boot section in towards turn 10. You can see Alfie Atmore is trying to do anything he can to try and get past, but you've got to be careful now because you leave yourself under pressure from Lachlan Bott there as well. Across the line, has got the pace, gets the job done, and I have to say, so does Lachlan Bott. So has Oliver Livesey got an issue because he's just lost 2 positions on the straight alone, and he's going to lose another one here from the 66 of Thomas Forbes as well, straight past. So is Oliver Livesey nursing an issue here?
Well, he's certainly going to have to get his rhythm back if he's got any hope in getting this race lead. But Alfie Atmore won't mind one bit, will he? He's got a very quick car under him by the looks of it. And number 85 of Lachlan is not letting him have it because he's gone wide slightly to just have a little look if there was an inside move on into the hairpin. There wasn't. Lachlan Bott is very sort of racy at the moment, shall we say. Definitely trying to get his nose into the mix as they both all run wide over that sort of rumble strip. That must really sort of shatter your spine as you go over that.
Oh, yeah.
It must really hurt for the drivers, but they clearly don't care.
Yeah, I mean, if you're racing at Fulbeck, what you do is you book an appointment at your chiropractor the day after you come finish racing at Fulbeck, so you can sort
Absolutely,
out.
But not because of the curves, because the curves are FIA approved height.
They are indeed.
They are.
They are indeed. There we go.
Not too big at all.
No, they are perfectly sized. There we go. 3 minutes to go then, and in towards the second of the chicanes here. as they exit through. Defensive driving again. Here comes, though, Thomas Forbes on Lachlan Bott. Can't get the move done there. Lachlan holding on to that second place spot out to the hairpin. Looks over his shoulder. He's not close enough for a lunge yet. Well, I think he's not close enough for a... Oh, we don't know if he's close enough for a lunge, but he might go for a cheeky one down the inside. Who knows? Who knows? 2.5 minutes. They exit turn 10, and it's still Alfie Atmore leading the way. Keeps looking over his shoulder, does Alfie. So pay attention. Look in front. Yes, okay, you're on a straight line, but still, pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And look who's in third place as well. It's Thomas Forbes. Now, he took a race victory earlier in the day. But don't count him out for this one because he seemed very quick and he has put a purple lap time in. However, having said that, it's been taken away because Lachlan Bott has got the purple time in, a 57.21. That's 3/10 quicker than Alfie Atmore. And he goes through on Alfie Atmore as well as the cameras. He just go out of sight, come back in, and Alfie has lost the lead to Lachlan Bott.
Yeah, good overtake there from Lachlan. It was a fine opportunity to just send one down the inside there. We have seen those moves before. They are easily done, but they can easily make a mistake through there as well. But it was very well executed, and it moves up into the lead. Now Alfie Atmore is under pressure from Thomas Forbes. Now we saw Thomas Forbes who tried to go for a move at the hairpin, couldn't quite do it, and has now fallen slightly behind. Oh, here comes Alfie Atmore again. He may have lost the lead, but he's still going to fight for it. Oh, that's tight through there. There we go. Now he's going to try the outside. Now he suffered his exit speed. Now he's going to have to defend hard here from Thomas Forbes. Thomas Forbes holds on to that one. Oh, the good old switcho-movo, and moves alongside again. And Lachlan holds on to that inside line once more. And, oh, good racing from these drivers.
What was that one called again? Switcho-movo.
Yeah, Switcho-movo.
Switcho-movo. I'm going to use that one now. Where's Thomas Forbes disappeared to? He was, as we were discussing that one, he seems to have just disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know if we've had a spin or not. We'll have to keep an eye out on him. Anthony's just looking out the window to see if he can spot him. No, he's there.
He did spin. No. Where is he? He's in the lead.
He's still in third. He's still in third, but he's about 7 seconds back from where he was. So
he spun.
So he must have had a bit of a spin, but luckily they had such a gap between third and fourth that he's managed to keep into third.
Well, there you go. Correct commentary team here. We can't even spot when third place spins. There we go. Sort it out. There we go. 10 seconds to go then. Last lap board will be out this time then to either Lachlan Bott or Alfie Atmore because they are still nose to tail. There is the third place man, Thomas Forbes in the 66. Unfortunately, he's now going to have to redo all that work again, but there is not going to be enough time to get that job done. So a huge shame for Thomas Forbes, but he's still there in third place. Are we going to see Alfie Atmore? He looks over his shoulder. Don't worry, Alfie, he's not there anymore. You've got clear route to try and close that gap up again because it's opened up slightly there as Lachlan Bott has opened up a clear advantage into the final couple of corners. Last lap board will come out this time to Lachlan Bott. There it is, out of turn 10, and last lap board is out.
Tell you what, Lachlan Bott as well, not on the lap he's just completed, but I think the one before that, he set the quickest time of the race as well. The only driver to delve into the depths of the 56.9, and that was... tell you what, that's a full 10th and a bit quicker than Tom Forbes' quickest lap time of 57 dead. So clearly, Lachlan's got the pace, and even though he's got a little bit of a gap to Alfie Atmore, 2 seconds now, he's still pushing it, still getting his head down.
Yep, still doing strong out there. Rest of the field as well. Leah Rowland, great drive from her at the moment. Got into 4th place of that 95. Oliver Livesey as well. 5th place, Joshua Bean in 6th place, Evan Bradley in 7th, Harry Hurst in 8th, James Hunting in 9th, and Matthew Pepe, they're your top 10 at the moment, but all eyes are on the race leader at the moment because out of the last couple of corners now in towards turn 10, it's the 85. It's a race win for Heat 2 for Lachlan Bott there as he crosses the line there. You can see the hand up in the air, very happy with that one there. Side by side across the line because Thomas Forbes, whoa, what happened to Alfie Atmore? Thomas Forbes closed the gap up and took 2nd with the fastest lap of the race as well at the end. So where did Thomas Forbes get that speed from? takes second place. Alfie Atmore crosses third. Leah Rowland, great result, crosses in fourth place. Oliver Livesey in fifth place. Joshua Bean in sixth. Harry Hurst in seventh. Evan Bradley in eighth place. James Hunting in ninth. Tom Stretford is your top 10. Matthew Pepe unfortunately lost a position on that last lap. Moved down into 11th place. Tom Ratcliffe in 12th place. Alex Favreau in 13th. James Thompson, Warren Kiss, Andrew Willman, Oliver Costello, Nathan Tyler, Abby Mills and Noah Webb round out the grid of 20 cars. So, an excellent race from the Class 11 and Class 10 for their Heat 2. It's now time for Class 1 and Class 4 for their Heat 2 coming up next. So, Class 11 and 10 will be taken to the circuit in just a moment. Another busy old grid for this one. Lots of drivers to get through. Abby Mills starting on the front row with James Hunting alongside Noah Webb and Joshua Bean on the second row of the grid. Peter Nuns-Randall and Alfie Atmore alongside. Matthew Pepe and Thomas Forbes on row number 4. And it's Oliver Costello, Nathan Tyler, Evan Bradley and Lachlan Bott. The next row. 13th and 14th is Oliver Livesey and Tom Ratcliffe. Then it's Harry Hurst, Leah Rowland, James Thompson and Alex Favreau. Warren Kiss and Tom Stretford, or Strefford I should say, rounding out the top 10 rows. And then on row 11 is Andrew Willman in the 77. They are lined up on the dummy grid area. You can see there the number 9 of Noah Webb for Barnwell at the front, just giving it a slight rev. Of course, with these being the 4 strokes, you'd expect the 4 strokes, the idles will be turned right up. The clutch is screaming at you as they're trying to pull away. Your foot's on the brake to stop them from getting away. That's a proper...
I was going to say, that's a proper meaty engine, isn't it, really? It's a proper low-down style engine as well. But, yeah, it's quite easily... The biggest grid that we've got here today. There's plenty of drivers involved with it, including Class 10, obviously James Hunting and Abby Mills, and the back end. And obviously, if you're wondering who on earth are each driver, well, the likelihood is the Class 10s are going to be towards the back of the field. And I'm just trying to remember what kind of cars. They're green plate with white numbers. So we haven't got to them quite yet because there are that many Class 11s, aren't there, to fill it up.
Do you want to know a hack? You were looking through your book for that. Class 10 is green with white numbers, red with white numbers, yellow with red, yellow with black. It's on your main pages there.
I can't believe I've been looking through different notes all this time. Gaida's already had me off. I mean, she's already done it for me, and I'm here trying to look through mountains of notes.
Sorry, what did you just say? There we go. Okay, it's getting hot in this commentary box, isn't it? It's only
you need to hydrate. You need some of the 6 litres that you got next to you. That's what
I've got many bottles of drink here. Gainer has kept me hydrated all the way through the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting towards the end of the day. It's been a good day of racing, hasn't it? And I think everybody's hopefully enjoyed it. I'm quite pleased with Tyler Wannerton. He's just beaten 2 Class 8s. For the Class 13 car. I mean, hopefully the Class 8s get back racing, but I fear we may need some kind of engine experts. Luckily, I know there are quite a few engine experts around the paddock here that are used to building Class 8 machines, so hopefully they'll get back out tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Let's hope so indeed. There's a good look down the entirety of the grid on this one. There's a busy grid of karts, so I'm expecting some good things in this race. Lots of action all the way through the field.
They'll be quite warm, won't they? Sat right next to the engine as well. If we're quite warm in here, they'll be very warm, I imagine. Sat next to that 4-stroke engine, puttering away, I imagine, with all that gear on as well. I mean, they don't have the fireproofs underneath, because karting, you're not legally bound to have to do it. I mean, some of them may have it on, they're not legally bound, but they're still going to be very warm.
Yeah, exactly that. There's also the difference between car suits and karting suits. Of course, kart suits are more an abrasive resistant material, because of course the likelihood of you
well, you'll be able to get out is the hope, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
If things go slightly wrong, and whereas in a car it's always a little bit more difficult.
Exactly that. But busy old grid of karts making their way round the track, and we are about to get this one underway. Support on the stream for Nathan Tyler, for Warren Kiss as well, and for Harry. So get your support in on the stream. We'd love to hear from you of who you are supporting out there. And it is always good to see fans watching at home, of course, because you can't be here at the circuit. The pictures here from Alpha Live, and of course a huge thanks to Signage Media, Next Level, and Next Karting as well for providing the fundage for the live stream coverage. So we do thank them dearly. And out to the final corner, it's time now for Heat 3 for Class 11 and 10. Out they go, green flag is out and in towards the first chicane. 4 wide again, are we? I don't think they learned the lesson for the first time, but are they going to get through cleanly this time? It looks like it. No yellow flags to report. Good stuff. The whole field gets through, albeit they've closed up a bit now at the back of the field. Oh, one kart pulling off in the background. Who's that? Who's stopping? It is the 93. That is a huge shame. Tom Stretford, or Stretford, I should say, one of the novice drivers. And there you go. Shows you the disappointment that these drivers go through, even in this grassroots racing.
Oh, I mean, it means everything to them. I won one race in NATSKA in my entire time of driving it. I was always a bit of a big boy. And we ended up, I still have the trophy, which is quite something. I mean, it shows how much it means to you, sort of thing. And I know full well Tom still has some of his trophies from NATSKA. It means a lot to these drivers. I have to say as well, Thomas Forbes, he's made a monumental step forward in this race so far. He started in 6th, and look, as the timing tower pops up on your screen, he's already up to 3rd place. And he's going to be right in the mix for another race win here, because Josh Beam and Alfie Atmore are fighting already for the race lead. Tom Forbes will be rubbing his hands at this one. Lachlan Bott moved up 2 positions as well. He's another protagonist to be keeping an eye out on. He's in 6th place.
He is indeed, yeah. Lachlan took the Heat 2 race win for Class 11, so he's definitely one to keep a very close eye on. And I think Richard Bott is joining us on the stream, saying thumbs up to Lachlan Bott there as well. So again, good support coming in for everyone. Again, go Warren from Nicky Kearse as well. We've got support for Thomas as well, and lots of more support coming in as well. So please do keep getting your comments in. 7.5 minutes then on that timer. This is a look at the lead, because it is Joshua Bean who's leading the way, but Alfie Atmore is right on the tail, and that's allowed Thomas Forbes, like you say as well, to close up. 1, 2, 3 on your screens here in towards turn number 1, and it was at Thomas Forbes who got the fastest lap of the race that last lap around. So that slipstream working well here at Fulbeck, and you can really tuck in behind your opponent and really gain some momentum down these straights. But in towards the second of the 2 chicanes, no moves here. Everyone getting around nice and cleanly, but down the inside looks Thomas Forbes into the left-hander. No, all yellow flags are out there, so there we go, didn't overtake. So keeping an eye on that one, as there is a kart stationary. It's the 18 that's gone awry, and that's Matthew Pepe. That's a disaster for Matthew.
It is indeed, but look at this defensive. Well, they don't need to technically be defensive, because I think they were going through a yellow flag. So actually, no, it would have been the previous corner. So he did need to be defensive. Yeah. There, Josh Bean, who has only turned up to, well, this will be the 5th out of the 9 rounds that Josh has turned up to. So he's doing very well, considering maybe arguably slightly out of practice. Alfie Atmore, I think, is 2nd in the championship overall. Thomas Forbes is 4th in the championship, but you wouldn't know it by the pace he's been showing so far. He's been absolutely flying. I could say Lachlan Bott, actually, I think is on pole position in the championship. So those 4 drivers that we've really seen highlighted here today are highlighting themselves throughout the entire championship as well. So brilliant to see them carry that on.
Yeah, no, exactly that. 5.5 minutes to go then, and eyes on this one, because who is that catching up there in 4th place? It is Lachlan Bott. Yes, it is indeed. So that battle for 3 has now become 4 into the yellow flag section, as that kart is still stricken at the side of the track of Matthew Pepe. So he's having to push that one in. So that now, I think, has cleared. So yellow flags will get pulled away in just a moment. But down the inside, Lachlan Bott moves up into P3. Nicely done, well timed. And again, good opportunity that, because, you know, everyone slows down for those yellow flags, and it jumped on that as soon as it was past the incident. You know, you can get back on it and get that position done. So good thinking, good driving there.
Yeah, it's not necessarily something that people would encourage, but it is a little bit of a racecraft. You start to learn a little bit more of that. You know, he didn't do anything wrong in the yellow flag zone, but he was keen to get on with the job at hand as soon as it was available to him. And look at this, he's already looking to the outside against Alfie Atmore. He's blended back in, but Alfie gave a big look to the right-hand side then, so he's certainly aware that Lachlan is fighting for it. But look at the inside here for Thomas Forbes. Through the left-hander. Nope, not having it just yet, but again, filling the virtually pretend mirrors of these drivers.
There we go, yeah, so defensive driving from Lachlan. That's allowed these top two to break away now. They've just got to remember, they've just got to... None of them have got to battle. Basically, they're in the limbo mode. You've got to wait, you've got to stay together, just work together until the last lap, and that's where you go. In a battle of four like this, the worst place to be is in third place, because you don't want to go for lunch. You've got to wait for second to make the move, and then you capitalise on that. That's how you get past, and without losing much time. Because if you start to make that move, then you'll make that. It's one of those.
But then you're also hoping that the person behind you doesn't bother making any moves either.
You, yes, yeah.
So, because then you both lose out.
But last place is in the, or fourth place is in that position of, he just wants to know. And speaking of fourth place, where's he gone? Where's Thomas Forbes gone? Have we missed something again?
I can't see him. I honestly can't. I'm looking out the windows now as well, and so are a few of our other people who are here as well. Darren on the cameras, and he can't quite see him either. So not entirely sure what happened there. But at the moment, Joshua Bean is leading Alfie Atmore and Lachlan, but we don't know where Thomas Forbes is.
There we go. So driving that one, has he just dropped back slightly? We'll see if it updates. He has crossed the line, so yeah, he is still out there. So he's just fallen back slightly. Oh dear, not sure what happened. Maybe a spin. Who knows?
Well, he lost 4 seconds, so maybe not big enough, or 5 seconds actually. Maybe not big enough to be a spin, but certainly something went wrong.
Yeah, there we go. Defensive driving again, Joshua Bean, because Lachlan is trying to get past as much as possible. Has not failed to do so. He's managed to get past actually Alfie Atmore, so he's moved up now into P2. Has Lachlan Bott. Great running from that one. It's just one more driver to go in the shape of Joshua Bean, and goes right round the outside here as they get past the 73 of Abby Mills, who moves out of the way. And as they go round the final corner, they'll cross the line. 2 minutes to go, and it's going to be side by side. No, slots back into position. Joshua Bean still leading the way. Pulls out of the slipstream now. Lachlan Bott down the inside. No, can't quite do it. Thomas Forbes, though, recovering well, because now he's just setting new fastest lap of the race, 56.73. So as wanting to fight back again, you can just see him there in the background. Very wide entry line there, trying to get the switchback move there. Nicely done. Look at that.
That is bang on the money, that is, from Lachlan, and really smart driving as well. That is fantastic racecraft from Lachlan, because it did look like he just overshot it. It was almost over-dramatised, but it worked a treat. So who are we to criticise if he's just taken the race lead?
No, exactly that. So 90 seconds left on the timer, and the 85 of Lachlan Bott takes the race lead into the penultimate corner. So there they go through the last couple of corners now, and the number 2 of Bean now under pressure from Alfie Atmore once more, but albeit this time for second place. Keep an eye on Thomas Forbes. There he is just behind. Not another new personal best or fastest lap. He set that last time around, but he is closing the gap. It's 3.9 seconds, is it now? But with 1 minute left on the timer, that's going to be a tall order to try and close that gap up.
It absolutely is, isn't it? And he's not exactly going a second and a half quicker than the drivers ahead of him either, so it is going to be a bit difficult. But Lachlan Bott with that lead of the Joshua Bean is in second place, the number 2 car. Alfie Atmore in third, Thomas Forbes in fourth, and rounding out the top 5 is the 20 of Peter Newnan's Randall. Who is this? That's Harry Hurst.
Harry Hurst. That is an absolute disaster. Harry was having an absolutely fantastic race there, and he was in 8th place when he last crossed the line, and that's an absolute disaster for Harry. He's had a great performance this week, or this day so far, this weekend, and yeah, huge shame for the last heat of the day.
It is indeed, and just having a look, the gap under 4 seconds now, but this will be the penultimate lap of the race. It's not quite the last lap. They crossed the line with about 15 seconds to go, did Lachlan, who is desperately trying to pull away from Josh Bean. Not quite been able to really pull the gap more than half a second at the moment. Josh is still putting in some quick lap times, so not really been able to pull away. Alfie Atmore again in the 56s as well, which means Thomas Forbes hasn't really been able to pull in any closer, but I think that's Tom Forbes' third fastest lap in a row, so he's absolutely trying his best, but the top three have also upped their game.
Yes, incorrect you are. So, last lap board out this time. And these top three still very, very close. Lachlan Bott's got that slight advantage now of half a second. Last lap board goes out. But Joshua is under immense pressure now from Alfie Atmore. Alfie trying to go down the inside. Bean covers that door, covers that line. It's correct thing to do. He can do it. He's allowed to do it. And I think the rule on that is you can only come off the racing line once and rejoin it once. I think that's the rule on it, really.
Yeah,
otherwise it's then weaving.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you only move your you make yourself a definite line sort of once, and then you can change it sort of once. And you can't do it under braking either. You can't move under braking, of course.
Yeah.
And here we go, though. It's a fantastic run out by Alfie Atmore, and well, there was no defending that one for Josh Behan, but he is going to try and go around the outside. Oh, huge clump at the curve there. It's not going to help him, and I'm certain that Lachlan Bott, though, will be very happy with this race, though. It looks like he's in the race lead. It's the last lap board coming in. That means one flag is coming out. It is Lachlan Bott to take the victory for the third heat in the Class 11 at the Nationals, with Alfie Atmore in the end coming across the line to take second place. On the last lap, he's pumping his fist. He's pumped about it. Josh Behan still on the podium, but has to settle for third place. Thomas Forbes has recovered well, but he ended up in fourth place.
There we go, and of course in Class 10 as well, we've not really spoke to him much about this because two drivers hidden away in this big group of Class 11, but the 71 of James Hunting is where is he at the moment? 13th place out there at the moment, and the 73 of Abby Mills 18th. So James Hunting will take the class win in Class 10. So good running from them at the moment. They'll appear in the shots. Of course, they're denoted with the green and white number plates there. They'll cross the line in a moment. But a good running then from Class 11 and Class 10. That was race 18 of the weekend. Only a couple more races to go. I say 3 more races to go, because up next it's time for Class 1 and Class 4. Indeed, you are correct. A busy old grid that we've got about to come out onto the circuit in the form of Class 11 and Class 10. Here's how they're going to be lining up then for the fourth heat of their weekend. Race 25, James Hunting starting on pole position with Abby Mills alongside. Then it's James Thompson, Nathan Tyler, Lachlan Bott and Oliver Livesey there on row number 3, or 6, I should say. No, it's row number 3. What am I talking about? Oliver Costello. Then it's Thomas Forbes on row number 4. Then it's Leah Rowland, Harry Hurst, Alex Favreau, and Alfie Atmore. They're on row number 6. Then Tom Ratcliffe, Joshua Behan, Matthew Pepe, and Noah Webb, Evan Bradley, and Peter Nuns-Randall round out that field there. And it's Tom Stretford, Warren Kiss, and Andrew Willman rounding out the 21 kart grid. I'll stop getting tongue-tied at some point today, won't I?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I had breakfast, I had my drink, I felt I should be awake and ready to go for racing here. And they exit out onto the track and they'll start their warm-up lap. And again, for this one, no movement with the...
We're not talking anything about the aggressive steering inputs, shall we say?
No, I didn't spot anyone doing it.
No, absolutely no one. No. Can't see anyone doing it. Now, Class 11, junior four-stroke, essentially, is what we've got. Because Class 12 earlier was basically the senior four-stroke. That we sort of affectionately name it. And Lachlan Bott, at the moment, is absolutely dominating it. He's had a 5th place. Apart from that, he's had 2 race victories. Thomas Forbes doing amazingly well as well, only 1 point behind. He's had a win and a 2nd and a 4th, which means Lachlan's on 5 points, Thomas Forbes is on 6. Alfie Atmore as well, another protagonist to be keeping an eye out on, scoring 9 points so far with 2 podiums, a 3rd and a 2nd, and then a 4th place in heat number 1 as well. So there are 3 drivers to keep an eye out on. Lachlan Bott even is currently starting on the 2nd row of the grid as well. So he's definitely going to be hunting forward. So is Thomas Forbes, starting in about 6th place.
Exactly that. Let's get this race underway. It's been a roller coaster all the way through this one. Like I say, the 66 Thomas Forbes, he had a race win, a second place in race 1 and 2. And green flag goes out, and away we go. Good start from the front row. James Thompson down the inside, holds on to that race lead. Lachlan Bott, big contact there in the mid-pack. One of the karts going over, and it's, I think, the number 10, lands on all fours. And still in the karts, technically can get going again, but it took a ride over another kart there, but looking like he's okay and gets going again.
Yeah, we are. There is still a yellow flag, so I still think there is some clearing up to do. May go full course yellow if they have to repair any tyre barriers, but not quite yet. Lachlan Bott in the race lead. Then he's overtaken James Thompson in the 68 car. It's actually the number I used to race in when I was in NATSKA as well, so that's quite nice to see. Nathan Tyler, I believe, is a 45. Actually, no, Oliver Livesey is in 45. He's currently in 3rd place. So, but look at that. Lachlan Bott already pulling time out of James Thompson here and getting a good race lead. They haven't put a full course yellow out, which means I think, the yellow flag has been pulled in. There is still a driver off the circuit. We'll give you an update as soon as we get it.
There we go. We'll check the timing tower, and I'm sure it will update. The 56 and the 7 are dropping down, so that's Nathan Tyler. But they have both crossed the line as well. The 18. And there's more contact there. There's more spins. And and everyone else is getting collected in. Oh, my goodness me. I suspect then the full course yellow didn't come out on that one, but we'll have to see what happens on this one. And I already see Bambo flags getting themselves out. So, yes, a full course yellow is coming out onto the circuit, as there has been lots of coming together at the first chicane. But again, it looks like everyone's okay. It was just the concertina effect.
Yeah, a little bit of that. It's as you said, we think everybody's okay. The full course safety, I think, will be good enough, hopefully. They just need to get the karts out the way, check all the drivers are fine, but it is a fairly sort of slow area of the circuit, so we are hoping that everyone is good to sort of just pull to the side. I think that was lost. We've lost about 3 or 4 drivers. Can't quite see from our gantry position, but I think that is about 3 or 4.
Yeah, so quite a few karts we lost in that one. I can confirm that it was Matthew Pepe in the 18 who we lost on the first lap, who went to run. You can see there how busy and congested it is, that they're actually avoiding the first chicane completely. As you can see, I can see the 45 there as well, I believe. So that's Oliver Livesey, who has had to retire from this one as well. You can see all the rest of the karts that are lined up there as well. I'm sure when we cross the line, it'll update. Right, okay, so it looks like the karts that we have lost in this one, because they've all dropped down the order and haven't again crossed the line. So we've lost the 45, Oliver Livesey, Leo Rowland in the 95, Oliver Costello in the 7, Nathan Tyler in the 56, Tom Stretford in the 93, Andrew Willman in the 77, and Matthew Pepe in the 18 and 21st place. We lost a lot of karts in that one there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It's lucky it's a big grid, isn't it, that we've still got so many karts running, to be honest, because that was probably the biggest incident we've had all weekend, and hopefully, touchwood, will be the biggest incident we have for the entire weekend, because everybody's out, everybody's stood up, they've moved all their karts out the way efficiently, so I think they're just directing people still through the chicane just for this lap, and then hopefully we'll get racing once again. But yeah, full course yellow, swiftly put out by our fantastic volunteers as well. We didn't give them enough praise yesterday for the marshalling all over the country is voluntary, but these guys are mums and dads and friends and grandparents and everything who jump out on the marshal post. They get volunteered to get trained up so they can get out there and provide the racing that their kids and grandkids really do enjoy. So a big thank you to all the Orange Army for NATSKA, indeed all over the country obviously, but especially for NATSKA in this context.
That'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it, if you crashed and it was your mum that came up?
I mean,
pulled you out the tyre wall.
Yeah, exactly. Pulled you out the tyre wall and then gave you a big telling off.
Yeah. What do you do that for?
Yeah, exactly. We taught you better than that. Come on, watch the footage back. Let's go learn what we've got.
There we go. So, looking like the incident is pretty much cleared up. The last couple of barriers just being sorted out. Full course yellow is still out on the circuit, but I don't know if we were expecting a green flag this time around. Someone, I think, went for a spin under the full course yellow condition flags there.
I think that was one of our class 10s, we haven't mentioned that much. Either James Hunting or Abby Mills. I think it was Abby Mills, because they're right at the back.
Yeah. So, no green flag this time around. We are still under the full course yellow conditions. So, again, just sorting out the last of the incident, because there were quite a few karts off the track there, I will say.
There were indeed, yeah. It takes quite a lot of effort. Obviously, all the marshals repairing the sort of tyre barriers now. It looks like the majority of it has been repaired, but obviously they want to make sure that the kids are okay as well. And by the looks of it, they are absolutely fine. They're just stuck in the infield, which means they can't get back. But I imagine we will have a recovery session after this race, which means everybody who's got their karts and indeed themselves stranded on the infield will get the opportunity to go back to the pits and start looking at the damage.
Yeah, exactly that. They've got lots of spectators in the infield now for the rest of this race.
Try to get a Mexican wave going.
Oh, yeah, we'll see if they can't hear us, unfortunately. Right, so it looks like the last of the barriers has been cleared up, and it looks like the track is now cleared up at the first chicane. The 96 looking like it's got an issue. Oh, no, that's another retirement. Alex Favreau there, who was in 7th place, looking like another retirement from this race. Full course yellow goes in, green flag comes back out, 3.5 minutes left on this race, and again back in towards turn 1 through the chicane this time around. Again, don't forget that you have to take that chicane. They've had the last couple of laps of getting used to going through it there, and you can just see the car park of karts on the infield there. Huge disaster in this race, but with 3 minutes left to go, looking down the inside there into the first hairpin was the 83 that you could see on your screen, but again slots back into position. Back here at the front, the 66 under pressure from the 68, but Thomas Forbes managed to get past James Thompson for 2nd place, gets that one done. Lachlan Bott though at the front, pulling away, and is leading this one comfortably at the moment with that restart. You can see the number 5 there, Alfie Atmore in the background, trying to look around the outside, gets that job done, moves past the 68 of James Thompson, but James Thompson comes back. There you go, that just shows track position is vital through here, but he holds on to it. So Alfie Atmore moves up now into P3. James Thompson moves down to P4. Then it's Joshua Bean there, you can see in the number 2 just behind. Harry Hurst as well. Great drive from him so far. Moving up into 6th place at the moment. You can just see there back in the shop, looking to the inside, following the number 2 through, and gets down. And the 68, James Thompson, moving down orders and goes slightly wide onto that rumble strip. 2 minutes left on the timer, and action-packed after this restart.
Yeah, it is indeed, and of course, the timer keeps ticking away when the full course yellow goes ahead, so if you're wondering if this race is going to be extended, it isn't. Unfortunately, the drivers have just had to sort of put up with it, shall we say, and sort of get on with it. So they're trying to make the most of the amount of time left available to them, and that's exactly what the number 2 driver, Joshua Bean, has been doing there. Now, Joshua Bean, he came 11th in the 2nd race yesterday, but he got a penalty, which means he has to carry that finishing position. He has to carry those 11 points, which has really hurt his opportunity to get a good sort of placement for this weekend.
Lots of support out on the stream for the number 20 driver, Peter Nuns-Randall, currently in 12th place at the moment, looking strong out on circuit. Of course, we lost quite a few on that one. He's just crossed the line now. His last time 1:04.27, so sterling effort from him out there at the moment. Time ticks over to 1 minute remaining, and we're watching the battle here for 3rd place between the number 5 and number 2, Alfie Atmore and Joshua Bean, as they go through in towards the left-hander, in towards now the hairpin of turn 6. Watch it through there, because again, got to watch out for that exit curve there. It's nice and flat but bumpy as well, so you've got to watch out for it. Then into the braking zone. Looks like Atmore has managed to open up a slight gap now on Bean as they go through, and actually caught to the back of Thomas Forbes, and now this battle for 3rd place has become a battle for 2nd.
It has indeed, and as soon as these two start fighting each other, that'll invite Joshua Bean right back into the mix, so it'd probably be better to work together and maybe just accept that you're going to get 2nd and 3rd in case of losing out and dropping down to 4th potentially. One driver is probably not worried about any of that is Lachlan Bott, and we are about to, I think this was the penultimate lap, the last lap board is currently in the gantry's hand, so we will be seeing that next time out, which means that Alfie Atmore has a half-decent opportunity to take 2nd place, but all of a sudden back comes Josh Bean and trying to take that podium away. So maybe Alfie made a little bit of a mistake, maybe he was looking up the inside and just forgot about actually driving the quickest racing lines and putting too much pressure on the driver ahead. He almost looked defensive going into the boot section here, but wisely pulled out of it, took the fastest line. I tell you what, he's very quick through there, isn't he? And I think that's where Josh Bean is struggling slightly. And I tell you what, I think Thomas Forbes is struggling slightly, that compared to Alfie Atmore, something that Alfie's doing is really working for him through that boot section. But as he looks up the inside there, he's just scrubbing off time. He's not going wide enough into the corner. He's gotten a good exit, so maybe I'm just talking out of something here, because Alfie Atmore moves his way into second place, and here goes Josh Bean to try and get into third. Thomas Forbes is having a bit of a trouble on the outside. They're saying, what on earth are you doing? Thomas Forbes not very happy about that. Maybe that will get taken to the stewards afterwards. A little bit of a appeal. The Lachlan bot is on the last lap of the race.
Yep, a mere bit of podding that was.
Yes.
Just a mere bit of podding.
Exactly.
There we go. Last lap time though, and here is your race leader, the 85 of Lachlan Bott, in towards the boot section. The last couple of corners, turn 7s, 8 and 9. One more corner to go, turn number 10, and it's going to be another race win for the 85. It was a race win in Heat 2, a race win in Heat 3, and a hand up in the air. It's a race win for Heat number 4 for Lachlan Bott. Alfie Atmore crosses the line in second, and Joshua Bean crosses the line in third place. Thomas Forbes crosses in fourth place, then it's Harry Hurst. Great result. Fifth place with a 92, James Thompson, James Hunting, then it's Warren Kiss, Evan Bradley, Tom Ratcliffe, rounding out the top 10.
You know what the most gutting thing about that one is? Because obviously if we're looking at the Class 10, James Hunting won Class 10, he came 7th overall. Abby Mills couldn't get off the grid for 2 of the races yesterday, and then ended up in that crash at turn 1, so it's really not going well for Abby Mills today. But it has gone very well for James Hunting this weekend, and a good race there by Lachlan Bott, and a very entertaining race between Alfie Atmore, Josh Bean and Tom Forbes, obviously Tom Forbes being the driver who probably dropped down. So we do have another race coming up. It's Class 1 and Class 4.
Well, great to chat to Joseph Loke there, former NASCAR driver, and of course now racing in the TOCA Touring Car Package at the British Touring Car Paddock now. But of course we've got race 32, Class 11 and Class 10 for there. Heat 5 is about to make their way to the circuit, and this is how they're going to be lining up. Abby Mills on the front row with James Hunting, Alfie Atmore and Harry Hurst on row number 2. Thomas Forbes and Joshua Bean on row number 3. The next couple of rows are Peter Nuns Randall, then it's Leah Rowand and Evan Bradley, Matthew Pepe and Oliver Costello. Alex Favreau rounding out row number 6. Oliver Livesey and James Thompson round out the row 7. Then it's Lachlan Bott and Nathan Tyler. Tom Ratcliffe and Noah Webb round out the 17th and 18th spot on the grid. Andrew Willman, Warren Kiss and Tom Stretford round out the field of 21 karts. Well, here we go then. Karts are making their way round the circuit. They've all been fed. They're all happy. I suspect that some of these drivers could have had their lunch break ages ago because they weren't actually in some of the other heats. But never mind. The queue for the cafe here at Fulbeck was mighty and long, so luckily I brought in my own provisions. Oh, I've just turned around and noticed some pork pie next to me. I'm very happy now. I didn't know that was there. Well, thank you very much, whoever delivered that one. Was it yourself, Jack? Jack can't talk at the moment because he's currently got his mouth full with said pork pie. But anyway, the race is about to get underway because it's all about to get nice and busy here around the final couple of corners now. Here we go then. Heat number 5. For this class, race 32 of the weekend. Green lights are out and away they go in towards turn number 1. Good start from the number 5 at the front of the row. Alfie Atmore there taking the lead straight away as they go in towards the first chicane. Bit of jostling in the back of the field, but everyone looks like they've managed to get through as there was a flutter of the yellow flag, but it clears very quickly out of turn number 2 and they come screaming down the back straight here. Contact warning there for Oliver Livesey, but in the number 45, so he's got to hold on to that one. And yeah, this live stream is 50% karting, 50% food. Yes, I will take full credit for the 50% food part of that one, but never mind. 8.5 minutes then to go in towards the next couple of corners. Nice and clean, everyone keeping it tidy. Jack, have you swallowed your pork pie yet?
It's because of the queue that was that formed. I had to rush back without getting my lunch, so very kindly Gaynor and the NATSKA team have fed me snacks, which is delightful, which I will be continuing to eat. throughout the course of the afternoon, I'm sure. A good start by Alfie Atmore, though, against Thomas Forbes. Two protagonists, you could argue, in amongst all this action that we've got for the Class 11 and 10 field. And then you've got Joshua Bean, who's had an unfortunate weekend, I would say, mainly due to a little bit of penalties forcing him down the order.
Yes, I will probably agree with you on that one. It has been a tough old day for some of these drivers, but here at the sharp end of the stick, the number 5, the 66, and the 2 fighting away fearlessly. Of course, the 66, Thomas Forbes, he's had a pretty good day so far. Took a win in race number 1, second in race number 2, and has been off the podium in both heats 3 and 4, so he's wanting to capitalise on this one as they go through. Number 5. Second place previous for Alfie Atmore. He had another second place earlier on today in Heat 3 and a third place earlier on as well, so he's had a fairly good day as well. Can he make it a race win this time, though?
Well, that's the question on everyone's lips, isn't it, for Lackland Botts? I mean, it's a long way down. 12th position for Lackland. Well, it was 12th position, it's just moved up to 9th actually, but obviously we're focusing on the top 3 at the moment because they're providing us with some very equal and very fair racing, it has to be said. Josh Bean looking over his shoulder to see that he's got blissful isolation behind him. Thomas Forbes not looking over his shoulder at all because he's slotting his way through. Alfie Atmore got caught out a little bit there, and I think he just got a little bit of a bump at the backside by the number 2 kart as well, and Joshua Bean. Nothing untoward, but just a reminder that you were in the race lead. You could slip down to 3rd if you're not careful, and if you're running a little bit wide, I think there was a little bit more contact there. An apologetic finger from the number 2 of Josh Bean there has allowed Thomas Forbes to pull away slightly.
Has indeed. Support coming in for many of the drivers on the chat. We've got support out for Peter out there, for Alfie as well, and for Warren. So keep your support coming in. We would love to hear from you. Just under 6 minutes to go, 5 minutes 50 seconds, and again, big look over the shot and a shake of the head from Alfie Atmore.
Not impressed.
Yeah, so he's not impressed with who's there, or maybe how he's positioning. He's not impressed with the leaders breaking away, and I've got someone right up behind me. What is going on?
Well, if you leave the door that far open, one thing will happen. It's Josh Bean will take the opportunity, and thank you very much for it. Thomas Forbes pulling away then. It was a 7/10 gap at one point at the beginning of the last lap. I fear it may be increasing, and actually look at the gap that Josh Bean has actually gained on Alfie Atmore already. Evan Bradley, who's had a up and down sort of, in fact, well, it's been a pretty torrid sort of weekend actually for him. He's had 2 penalty points. He's had to carry both of them, which means his 8th place that he achieved in the last heat is actually going to be, he's going to have to drop it. So he's going to have to carry a lot of extra points. So the number 92. Now what we're looking at here is Harry Hurst and the 20 of Peter Nunn's Randall. Harry just going through on Peter there, and by the looks of it, we've got the number 95 just chasing them down, of Leah Rowland and Lackland Botts just in the background.
Yeah, you can see there the red suit, black helmet with the silver sort of bodywork on the car, or silver and black bodywork, so nice colour mismatch that they've got going on there with that
Whatever
car.
Fits the car will do.
Yeah, exactly. If it fits, sits, as a cat would say.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, like to sit anywhere they like, don't they? 4.5 minutes to go. Let's have a look down at the rundown of what we've had after 4 laps of racing. Thomas Forbes leads the way at the moment in that 66 plate. Then it's Joshua Bean in the number 2, Alfie Atmore in 3rd place, Evan Bradley in 4th, Peter Nunn's Randall, and then it's Harry Hursley, Roland Lachlan Bott that we are looking at on your screen as we now move to 2nd place. Then it goes Oliver Livesey, then it's James Thompson, Thomas Radcliffe, Matthew Pepe. Good running so far for him because he had a retirement earlier on as well. James Hunting in 13th place, Oliver Costello in 14th, Andrew Wilman in 15th, Tom Stretford in 16th place, Warren Kiss, the number 1 plate, doing a sterling job, up into P17, so doing very well for him out there. Noah Webb in 18th place, Nathan Tyler, Alex Favreau and Abby Mills rounding out the grid. 21 karts started this race, 21 karts still running, which is excellent to see. Yeah,
Lackland Bott just making him 2 positions while you were doing that rundown as well. He's now up to 6th place and he's hunting down. He's not finished. He wants, in fact, he's already had the number 5, who obviously was Alfie Atmore, running so well earlier on in this race. Slipping down the order a little bit, and by the looks of it, Lackland has been released, as they say. Lachlan. I keep saying Lachlan, don't I? That's who we had a gentleman come up saying it's Lachlan.
He's very nice about it. He's loving the commentary, loving it. Lachlan.
And it was to you as well, and you've been pronouncing it right all this time, and it's me who's been the one upsetting him, unfortunately. But yes, Lachlan bot. And now we're currently looking at the number 20 of Peter Noonan's rear. I mean, Lachlan actually overtook these guys not but half a lap ago, and look at the gap as the number 95 Leah Rowland goes to go up ahead.
Yep, good little overtake there. Here is a little look further up. So you got the 25 just in short. That's Evan Bradley. Harry Hurst as well, the 92. Great running from him so far up into P4, but has got that increasing pressure from Lachlan Bott, as you say, just behind, who's managed to get past the two further behind of Peter Nuns Randall and Alfie Atmore, and has closed in on this group of karts as they go for the lead. There you go, diving down the inside, not making a move there, but suffering on the exit here because, of course, taking that much tighter line on the way in. So HEATS slot back into place. But I suspect Lachlan here is in a good position because the two in front, I don't think have actually noticed these here and are actually fighting for position, which is good because, you know, they're going to be losing time with taking defensive lines and all of that. And then Lachlan Bott, again, fastest up of the race, 56.78. They approach the 73. Who gets out of the way? That is Abby Mills.
In the Class 10 car.
In the Class 10, yeah. And moves out of the way for these front runners. Around 90 seconds. Oh, and there's a coming together in the... Was that the number 2? Was that Joshua Bean that I saw there? I think it could have been. It was the leaders. Now the 2 has slowed right down. It's Joshua Bean. Where is Thomas Forbes? Is he a little further up the road? But I think he was also involved in it. Oh, right, okay, here we go. Ring the dinner bell because it's about to kick off once more because it's for second place on the grid here because Joshua Bean now under immense pressure from Evan Bradley. Tries to go down the inside. Now has to concede a spot here potentially to Harry Hurst, who switches around the outside now. Oh, this is very close. Marshall. There we go as they go through. 1 minute left on the timer here. It's all kicking off.
Yeah, and crucially, Josh Bean actually got a contact warning before he then cut across the other drivers as well. So Josh Bean being a little bit of a naughty boy at the moment, and I fear that he may get a little bit of a chat to. And Evan Bradley with the warning, actually, the number 25, so maybe he was the one actually to blame for that little incident. I only just saw it as I looked away from the timing tower, so maybe he is. Was looking up an avenue that wasn't really there. Lachlan is certainly going to hope to prise the door open, shall we say, because he is now in 4th position.
Ah, yes, that's very well spotted. 30 seconds to go.
No, he's in 3rd position. Sorry, my apologies.
Oh, well, there you go. No, it's absolutely fine. 30 seconds to go then, and Thomas Forbes leading still at the moment. Lachlan Bott, though, down the inside of the number 2. Can't quite do it on the exit and loses the position for good measure because down the inside. Oh, Evan Bradley, thank you very much. I'll take those 2, says him.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got 2 laps to hold off the attacks of Josh Bean, who's coming back strong, as is Lachlan, not wanting to lose out to number 92 of Harry Hurst. There we go. Joshua goes back through. You know, fantastic little battle here for second place, isn't it? Evan Bradley is the number 25 who's in amongst it. Lachlan looking to go to the inside, but just thinks better of it, or was too far away. It's hard to tell sometimes with those racing perspective. But Thomas Forbes is a good 3.2 seconds up the road, not really worrying about this, even if there was contact between him and Joshua Bean earlier on.
Indeed. So the timer strikes 0. Last lap board will be coming out this time to Thomas Forbes, but all eyes are here on this second place battle. This has been absolutely nose to tail all the way throughout the 56. Just getting out of the way, I believe. That was Nathan Tyler, currently in 20th place in Class 11 as it goes through. So good driving from him. Last lap board goes out to Thomas Forbes, but like I say, yeah, eyes on this one at the moment because in second place is Joshua Bean at the moment. Lachlan again to the inside defensive. Little weave there from Evan Bradley, but it can't do anything about it because Lachlan Bott now moves up into P2. Good move there, but was it a move too late because Joshua Bean, I should say, sorry, has started to open up that gap. I think he may have got second in the bag. What can Lachlan do in this short amount of time? Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past Lachlan, actually. He's got fantastic pace through the chicane here. There's a couple of technical sections to come as well, and a lot of sort of coming out of the corner. And in fact, here we go, on the left-hand side. It's going to be a good move for Josh Bean to keep that away from him, but Lachlan just showing that he was ambitious enough to even try it. Thomas Forbes is about to take the checkered flag, by the way. In fact, there he is on your screen, just going through the final boot section. Coming out turn 9, about to go through turn 10 in blissful isolation. Yep, on his own, 66, Thomas Forbes, another race win, but who's going to get second place? It's Bean who comes out the number 2 on top.
and Lachlan Bott has to settle for 3rd place. Evan Bradley crosses in 4th, and Harry Hurst, great result, 5th place. Then comes Peter Nuns-Randall in 6th place. Good support on the stream for him as well. Leah Rowland as well in 7th place. Tom Ratcliffe is appearing in your shot now, the 88, 21 seconds further down the road. Then it's Oliver Livesey who's going to rear run to the line. Who's going to get it? James Hunting moves up 2 position, goes to 9th place. Then it's Oliver Livesey, then James Thompson, Matthew Pepe, then it's Andrew Willman and Warren Kiss up into P14. Great result for Warren. Tom Strefford, I should say, in P15. Alfie Atmore, disaster, starting at the front all the way down now in 16th place. Oliver Costello in 17th. Then it's Alex Favreau, Noah Webb, Nathan Tyler and Abby Mills rounding out the 21 strong grid. 21 cuts started it, 21 cuts finished it.
Yeah, which is always nice to say, isn't it? And crucially, I believe that means Thomas Forbes will have halved the gap to Lachlan Bott, because Thomas Forbes would have scored 0, keeping him on 6 points. Lachlan Bott was on 0, but now have 3. Speaking of, well, moving forward, actually, we'll see how that develops as we go through into Heat 6 and the last race of them further in the day. But we're still on Heat 5, and we're going to shoot away to Class 1 and 4.
Correct, 5 seconds later, and we're on the next race, and here's the grid of how they're lining up. James Hunting and Abby Mills on the front row, with Oliver Costello and Alex Favreau on row number 2. Leah Rowland and James Thompson on row number 3. Lachlan Bott and Evan Bradley round out the next row, with Tom Ratcliffe, Noah Webb, Oliver Livesey and Harry Hurst rounding out row number 6. Row number 7, Joshua Bean, Peter Nuns-Randall, and then it's Thomas Forbes, Matthew Pepe, and Nathan Tyler, and Alfie Atmore rounding out the next 3 rows. Warren Kiss, Andrew Willman, Tom Shepard rounding out the 21 strong cut grid, and that number 93. Well, there they are lined up at the front, and there is the 96 of Alex Favreau starting on the front row. The Anglo-Italian. Oh, I wonder who he's supporting tonight. That's going to be a tough call.
That is a tough one, isn't it? But as that is the British flag and not the English flag, I reckon he's going to go Italian.
It could very well do. There we go. The number 7 on your screen, Oliver Costello. There you go, the 68 as well on screen, James Thompson, the 95, Leah Rowland, 25 for Evan Bradley there. The bell. KC3CMR. Is that a helmet? Someone remember?
Oh. You've thrown out some obscure knowledge on me there.
Lachlan Bott on your screen, the 85. Looking quick all weekend. Ooh, cameraman almost got run over there.
They are brave, aren't they, when they stand in the middle of those shots? I mean, I know the Honda doesn't have the mass amount of power, but you never know. You know, you could get a toe squished here and there, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, it's still painful, trust me. There we go. As now, Gain has been wanting us to say this all day, and I'll say it.
Careful, eh?
I'll say it. I'll wait for it at the start. I'll say it. Because it's the last time.
I know what you mean.
Last time I'm going to say it. I've been told in my ear to be careful. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's safe. It's clean. It's just fun. Don't have to worry about Gaynor that much. I know she's a troublemaker, but don't worry. There we go. Here we go then. Final time for Class 11 as they exit out of turn number 9 in towards turn 10. And we're about to get their race underway. Let's get ready to rumble. Here we go. It's Class 11 as they scream out from the start-finish line in towards turn 1. Good start then off the line. Everyone goes through. Some karts going slow. The number 9's going slow, trying to get out of the way. But everyone gets through cleanly. Good start there.
It was a good start, and yeah, it's a good start commentary-wise as well. Gaynor loved it. Number 7, Oliver Costello leading the way then with the 96 of Alex Favreau in second place. All wide from the 95 of Leah Rowland. I tell you what, that's opened the door for Lachlan Bott, who's gone from 6th place up to 4th, smelling a 3rd already, I say, and just at the closing stage of this opening lap. the rest of the field has got quite calmly through the rest of the lap, I have to say, as well. A really good job by all of them. No big tragic accident yet, so fingers crossed it carries on that way. Lachlan has got himself into third place and already eyeing up second across the line, potentially. A little move we're going to see into turn 1.
Potentially so. Out of the final corner they go, and as they cross the line, it's Favreau who leads from Costello, Bott, Rowland, Bradley, Ratcliffe, Thompson, Forbes, Livesey, Nuns, Randall, Hurst, Bean, Atmore, Pepe, Stretford, Webb, Kiss, Willman, Hunting, Taylor, and Mills. Did you look at your watch then when I was doing that?
It's a hell of a grid to read out. It's all like that. It's quite impressive, though, to be fair. As we're now looking at Lachlan, he didn't quite get the second place, but he is still there trying.
He is indeed, yeah. Lachlan Bott there behind the number 7 of Costello as they go into the second chicane and is piling on the pressure. Now you can see there Costello goes defensive from Bott, and Bott will have a look down the inside here. No, he thinks against it because now he's under pressure from the karts behind. The 95 of Rowland as well wants to get involved in this battle as they brake now heavily for the boot section. And oh no, the 77, that's Andrew Willman, the novice, has gone off the track, and that looks to potentially like a mechanical issue. That's an absolute disaster for Andrew Willman. Across the line, Thomas Forbes, the 66 in 7th place, was the fastest driver that lap, 58.89 as they exit once more. Hand up, of course, in towards turn 1. What is that hand up for? Was that for yellow flags, or is that an issue from the 96 potentially?
No, I mean, he had a fantastic gap, but he went straight on through the first chicane. He didn't take the second.
I see.
The chicane, so he held his hand up. He didn't gain any position because he can't. He was in the race lead, yeah. But he didn't want to gain the time, so he let them all.
Yeah, he let them close right up.
Yeah, and to be fair, fantastic sportsmanship. Got to hold your hand up to him there. Fantastic, and he's already built that gap up again because Lachlan is just locked in a battle with Oliver Castello here, and Castello's not giving his battle away, is he? And Favreau will be looking at his, well, I say rearview mirrors, I keep making that mistake, but looking over his shoulder and loving this battle carrying on. Every lap that Castello is ahead is another lap Favreau can gain a little bit of time.
Yeah, lots of support again out on the stream for the drivers. We've got Come On Warren as well. We've got Peter. Peter.
Come on, Peter.
So obviously it means go. If anyone doesn't know what Vi means.
Cheers.
You're welcome. 5.5 minutes left on the timer. And again, you can see there Favreau leading the way. Side by side, though, because down the inside, Lachlan Bott goes for second place. Gets it done. Contact behind, though. And you can see there, 2 of the drivers have gone awry. Oh, dear me. That's a shame. We can't quite see the numbers because of the tyre walls. But, of course, I do recognise that the drivers' helmet, but I can't recognise the kart number. That is a huge shame, but I'm sure... there we go, the 25 and the 66. Oh, no, the 66. That is Thomas Forbes, who, of course, has had an absolutely stellar day. He's won the first heat. He came second in the second heat. He's had a stellar day all the way through this one, and... that's a huge shame for Thomas Forbes. He looked good in the standings in this one. That's a huge shame.
Yeah, Evan Bradley, however, not looking so good and not had such a clean weekend either. He's had 3 penalties in race 1, 3 and 5. And, we didn't see what happened there, so we won't say anything about his race 6 because we don't know what happened, but hopefully he doesn't pick up another one. Lachlan Bott has been freed and has stretching his legs now as he tries to track down Alex Favreau. I have to say, well done to Oliver Castello for holding him back, because not a lot of people have held Lachlan back for that long in this Class 11. So, very impressive. Also, we've got Class 10 here as well, if anybody was wondering. James Hunting, currently in 13th place overall, leading the Class 10 ahead of Abby Mills, who is all the way down 19th.
There we go. You mean in 19th, not all the way down in 19th.
Well, a lap down as well.
They're in 19th place.
They're in 19th.
Yeah. They're
Stick a positive spin on it.
They're up into 19th place.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. There we go. Leading the way, and the 96 looking all over the shoulders there. Favreau into the braking zone. And the number 5 diving to the inside, throws a hand up saying thank you very much. Yes, I'll take that spot there. So out Atmore moving up now into P4, I believe. No, P5. I believe, as they go... No, P4. There we go, I got it right the first time. As they go through, side by side, though, for the lead, because now Lachlan has got that move done, has he? Yes, he has. So that's Lachlan Bott to the lead now, and Favreau moves down in towards P number 2. This is good for Bott, because, of course, that means now he can just stretch that lead now, have a comfortable last 3 minutes of his race.
Yeah, and if he carries on here, it will be his 4th victory of the weekend as well for Lachlan Bott. So congratulations to him if he holds on to it, which is obviously is not guaranteed. This is motorsport at the end of the day. It's not always guaranteed. But Alex Favreau did a good job, 5 laps in, and you know, kept his nose ahead for now. And look at this battle. It's got Alfie Atmore up to 3rd place with a battle for 4th. But I'll tell you what, Oliver Castello, driver of the race for me at the moment, he's doing a great job.
Costello.
Ah.
It's Italian, not Spanish.
Tell you what, I am a fool. I apologise.
No. You're fine. Don't worry. I do it all the time. I get drivers' names wrong all the time. I'm probably famous for it. So there we go. But it's 2.5 minutes to go on that one, and Lachlan Bott leading the way from Favreau, Atmore, Costello, Rowland, and Bean. They're the top 6. Harry Hurst, great running so far, up into P7. Tom Ratcliffe, James Thompson, and Peter Nuns Randall round out the top 10. There's support for Peter as well. Of course, that keeps coming out. There's lots of support as well from Aaron Nuns as well. So lots of support coming out. 2 minutes to go, and it's all kicking off still for 2nd place because... Or this is 4th place, sorry, I should say, because Costello under immense pressure from Rowland as they go through.
Yeah, but you weren't wrong about the drama for 2nd place because Alex Favreau is defending, yet again, from Alfie Atmore, a new driver that he's defending from this time, but still just as quick. And up the inside goes Alfie Atmore, and his defence didn't last quite as long as his defence on Lachlan Bott. So Alex having to settle for 3rd place, but I'll tell you what, he's got a good gap. Got a good gap. If he can carry on in 3rd place, I'm sure he'll be very pleased. Alfie Atmore moving himself up to 2nd. Hasn't historically shown the kind of pace to try and catch Lachlan Bott today, but you know, you never know. Again, motorsport, anything can happen.
No, anything can happen. 90 seconds left. Oh, contact there, the 95. I don't know what happened there, but he came out the corner absolutely sideways there. That was a disaster for Lee Rowland, so not sure, again, what happened, but yeah, drama in that pack there. Now, as they go through, 1 minute left on the timer as they exit out of the final corner. It's side by side, 3 wide into the braking zone. The 88 nose cone looks like it's dragging along the floor, I must say, as they exit out of the turn 1 chicane. Here they go. And you can just see there Tom Ratcliffe under pressure because the 95 is coming back. That's Rowland on the inside, gets that job done. There's the 20-inch shot. That's Peter Nuns Randall now up there. Oh dear, that's the number 9 that's being dragged off the track. That's Noah Webb. 15th place for Noah. That's an absolute disaster.
Yeah, not the way you want to end the most important weekend of the year, obviously, being dragged off the circuit, but I think he's had a semi-decent weekend of it apart from that. Let's hope he's enjoyed it anyway, fingers crossed. Looking at here, who's number 2, Joshua Bean. Not really been in the race as much as we're used to. Is a very bobbing head of, I think that's the 71 of James Hunting in the Class 10 category. Is trying to eke his kart along a little bit. He doesn't really need to try that hard because he is leading the Class 10 category ahead of Abby Mills, but still wants to get stuck in with these Class 11s.
Exactly that. Well, the timer strikes 0. And Lachlan Bott is leading this way comfortably by 2.9 seconds as we keep an eye because the 92 of Harry Hurst dives down the inside of the 20 of Peter Nuns Randall to take that 8th position away and gets that job done, moves up 1 more position. But like I say, the 85 of Lachlan Bott is about to receive the last lap board this time around. There he is on your screen. He's got the GoPro mount in there, but there's no GoPro in it. So all of this racing from the lead, he's not filmed any of it. What a shame. Never mind. There we go. So out of turn number 9, through turn number 10, and back onto the start-finish straight now. Last lap board is out. Hunkers down. Last lap time. Here we go.
Yeah, he's not got the GoPro in it because he's relying on the fantastic footage by Alpha Live, that's why. So yeah, Lachlan doing a brilliant job, and I think this is going to be the S-plate going the way of Lachlan Bott as well. Again, it's not like Class 14, I don't think I'm going to get this horrendously wrong unless penalties come into the mix, but Lachlan driven brilliantly, even when he's had to have the recovery drives, he's managed to carve his way through, and he's made the Class 11 a fantastic spectacle, as had many other drivers, it has to be said. Alex Favreau did a brilliant job today in this race. Alfie Atmore as well, another driver worth mentioning. Even a little bit further down, Joshua Bean gave us some entertaining racing as well as Thomas Forbes in the 66. We've been keeping an eye on all of these drivers, and I have to say, the Class 11, when I was racing, Never was that interesting, but today it's been brilliant.
It has been brilliant all weekend. And out of the final corner, it's the 85 of Lachlan Bott who sees the checkered flag. It's a weave over the line and a hand in the air. And you can see there as well, Alfie Atmore in second place, also ecstatic with the victory. The 73 of Abby Mills crosses the line as well in 16th place. Great result. The 96 of Alex Favreau crosses the line in third place. Joshua Bean crosses in fourth. Oliver Costello in 5th place, sets a personal best time as well as they cross the line. Leah Rowland, then it was Harry Hurst. Peter Nuns-Randall in 8th place, James Hunting in 9th, and James Thompson in 10th place. Oliver Livesey, and then it's Warren Kiss, 12th place for Warren. Great result. Matthew Peve in 13th place, Tom Ratcliffe. Then it's Nathan Tyler. Abby Mills, as we say, already taken the checkered flag. Tom Ratcliffe will be the next kart to cross the line in the 88. It's just a little bit further down the order. And we'll wait for them to come round, I think, or have they already gone past the line? I think they already have. So there we go. There is the finishing results on your screen. And what a race that was.
It was absolutely stunning. And a big shout out to Alex Favreau. We mentioned him a lot in that race, but his best position up until that race was 7th. But apart from that, he's had 19th, 19th, 16th and 12th. So a third place is a monumental sort of achievement by Favreau there. Well done to him.
Yeah. Excellent running for that one. Well, an exciting end to Class 1 and 4. It's no, what that was 11 and 10, wasn't it? So now it's time. I'm jumping ahead of the schedule here. I am. I'm so eager. There we go. There we go. But now it's time for Class 1 and 4 to take their way out to the circuit.